out that the Pistons can trade, or the Wolves fear Anthony Edwards could get traded and people start throwing crazy trades. Or the Pistons, Cade and Anthony Edwards backcourt. Yeah, that'd be fine for sure. That'd be fine. You know, it'd be a lot of money in your backcourt. I think it'll be well worth it. Honestly. I mean, shit, you know. But honestly, he gotta want to be here and be honest. I mean, Detroit, you know, low key is a lit city. But you know, honestly, you know, the belief is that he wants to go back to Atlanta and go back home. And that's not always wise for a young man to go back home. It's a lot of bad decision making that can be made, being close to family and friends and, you know, areas that you're familiar with. But I mean, hypothetically, I mean, of course, you get an opportunity to get a guy like that. You know, you might be like, well, what's the hesitation on competing for Giannis? You hear the Pistons linked to Tyler Hero, Kyrie Irving, Trey Murphy, Lauri Markkanen. You know, they might have interest in just a number of guys, right? You know, maybe Giannis, but the difference is, you know, Anthony Edwards in his prime. You know, you willing to pay that, and that's the whole thing with Devin Booker in his prime. You know, get young guys that can grow together and win together, and you know, it's a guard dominant game. You know, but honestly, you know, that the NBA ain't gonna let that happen. They'll let it happen for the Lakers or something like that, or the Celtics. But you know, but in general, you know, obviously, you get a talent available. All 30+ teams are gonna be looking to get a best deal for a guy like that. Now, you know, in the NBA, you kind of control your destiny where you want to go more than most. So you got to remember that side of the game. You can control where you want to go more than most, you know, most places. So, I mean, but of course you put a deal in, you know, but I think the Pistons got, you know, such a, you know, good camaraderie going around with their team. My thing from Trajan Langdon is he don't want to mess with the DNA too much. You know what I'm saying? And you understand that. Because sometimes how close-knit you hear, you remove a guy from the locker room and it never was the same. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really want to change the DNA too much of the team, but yeah, you get an opportunity to get guys like this. You strike, you throw an offer out there. Like I said, Giannis might be a little bit different. He's 32. And people say, well, what's the difference between, you know, Kyrie then? And well, Kyrie is just, he's not going to be as high of a price. So you see a guy come off an injury, you know, might go for the low ski compared to what he would have went to, 34, might go for the low ski, you know, and really a lot of teams, you know what's so crazy? I was thinking about this. I say in an era where they shooting the three a lot. It's a lot of motherfuckers who can't shoot. It's a lot of in the era where we in the era, it's a lot of guys who can't shoot. I feel like it was better shooters back in the day, to be honest. These dudes just shoot a lot of threes. It's hard. I started looking at like Tobias Field 30%, 31%. De'Aaron Fox 31%. You know, you start looking at these 3-point field goals. You don't see too many people creeping around, you know. What do you consider a good 3-point percentage? I would say 37% is really good, right around that area. I think elite is 40 and above. So right around the 37% mark is good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the average is, but it ain't a bunch of great shooters, man. So everybody looking for shooting. So when you add a guy like Giannis who dominate the ball and can't shoot, you know, and then also he kind of cut down his criteria, wanted to stay on the East Coast and not play with a ball dominant guard. It's like, okay, where you gonna go? It's only a handful of places where you got guards that's gonna feed you in general. I think a place like OKC, yeah, I think they share the ball. Ball movement is critical. I think, you know, Minnesota, they share the ball pretty well. You know, it's just, you know, a lot of guys ain't stepping up. Detroit, you got a point guard that don't mind giving the ball up in Cade if, you know, you could do something with it. But in general, it really, you know, really cut down his opportunities. But, you know, in theory, Anthony Edwards and Cade work well together. You put anybody next to Cade, they both got dog in them. You know, Anthony Edwards has turned this up to one of the better 3-point shooters. Just know his work ethic, his ability to slash. I think their personalities mesh well. You know, honestly, in a vacuum, I'd make that happen. I'd make that happen. I would just figure out the worst of the bullshit on the back end. I make that happen. You know, two of the best stars, you know, but then, you know, they'll start to play them guys against each other like they do Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I just tell people, always know your history, or, you know, try to go back. If Penny Hardaway had to do it again with Shaq, they would stay together. These people get in your ear and you young, your testosterone high, your bravado high, you think you the shit. Ain't nobody's team, man. It's a team effort. And, you know, think about the Lakers team that won championships. You know, one year Fisher was injured all the year. He came back. They don't win. The one he hit the shot versus San Antonio with a 2 second left. Regardless or not, you can say, well, they wouldn't have won that championship without Kobe and Shaq. They wouldn't have won that bitch without Derek Fisher. Everybody's important to a team. Even the people you see behind the scenes, you know, they may not play, but a lot of times they be the glue that hold that shit together, making iron sharper iron in practice. Or they have social issues, and it's guys that you remove from the locker room that you don't think is significant, assistant coaches that keep the team together. It's deeper. It's like you going to work every day and you working as a team. If one person don't do their job, you know, it causes stress. Everybody got a job to do, whether it's physical, whether it's, you know, scheduling, and, you know, if everybody do their job, it works. So everybody got a job on the team. So, but there'll be some dogs. They dogs. They some dogs. That'd be a great backcourt. You can do a lot with that. You can do a lot with those guys, but we know it's not gonna happen. But more likely, he might go to Atlanta. They might get him try to go out to LA, go out to New York, to Boston, or something like that. But definitely, him and Cade are the faces of the NBA. It's just that they don't want to push it that way. You know, they're trying to really push Spurs and Thunder, Shea Gilgeous-Lee, and Victor Wembanyama, because people say they small market. It's because they international. They want the international push to be going. I ain't knocking it at this point, but in theory, yeah, I'm willing to give up anything not named Cade. You know, but we'll see. I'm gonna do a video talking about the Pistons player development too, because you know, OKC has done that as good as anybody, and you know, you look at Minnesota, you know, with Jay McDaniels, they did it, and the Pistons doing it. So whatever they doing is working. So, but hey, check out the Detroit Piston Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace. Yeah, and don't my bad. Something else I was gonna say, but hit the link in the description. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Appreciate y'all. Peace.